So, good evening. I just want to first of all say, it's a privilege for Christy and I to have all of you here as guests to honor our sons. We're really grateful to each one of you for making a special trip out here and to help celebrate us. This is it's rare for somebody to get a chance to celebrate their son or daughter as an Eagle Scout. It's even more rare to get to do two of them at the same time, and we're very privileged to have them here. This is an opportunity to honor our sons. We're both very proud of them. I could stand up here and talk for hours of stories of them and the things they've done that we're proud of. But mostly tonight I just want to focus on, my wife and I both like to focus on our gratitude for everybody who's invested in our sons to help make this time possible. You've poured your time, your talent, your treasure into our boys. You helped to make this possible, and without you, it wouldn't have happened. Scouting is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me and to my family, and some of that is because it's given us an opportunity to expose our boys to things they wouldn't normally have been exposed to. I hate fishing with a passion. I think it's the most obnoxious sport ever created. But my son loves it. And he only loves it because somebody else took the time, to somebody that actually enjoyed the sport, to show it to him and say, hey, this is what I want to do. Okay, we've had the opportunity to enjoy Cub Scouts all the way through. And Mr. Haggard's here as an example of somebody who stood up at the front with a bunch of kids that were completely out of control and obnoxious and entertained them, oftentimes at their own expense. There's people that pour into these kids when they're young and they're Cub Scouts and they're having fun and they don't recognize that it's learning in disguise. And I'm really grateful for the people that have put into them, to the parents that have helped to make scouting happen, including my own, that stood up as scouters themselves and were den leaders for myself and part of our scouting experience when I was a Boy Scout with my brother, to all of the other parents that helped to make it happen, and sometimes to people that were engaged in scouting that weren't even parents, but they were there, or their kids had long grown up. We're just incredibly grateful to everybody who's invested in our family. A lot of people behind the scenes that don't often get recognized. You've heard a lot of names today. There's a lot of people in this room that are here specifically because we wanted to make sure they were recognized, and to say thank you to all of them, from the assistant scoutmasters to the committee members. I can't name everybody that's involved, but there's a lot of people that sometimes get forgotten. So I'll hit on a couple of names. Mr. Kempen, Mr. Schwartz, Mrs. Prestipino. These are names that oftentimes don't get recognized in these ceremonies. I want to make sure they get called out as people that have absolutely invested in Troop 320, into our boys, and they would not have an Eagle Scout rank today without the effect of those people in their lives, in addition to the others. Every day that somebody invests in making scouting fun and enjoyable is another investment in future Eagle Scouts. From Mr. Federchak, who goes from troop to troop. Many times people don't know who he is, but he's a commissioner who's showing up to make sure that we've got good programs for the Scouts to enjoy. To Mr. Rick, who made Twilight Camp happen 2 years in a row. That was an incredible experience for our boys that they absolutely loved, helped them feel welcome in North Carolina when we got here, and they didn't know what was going to happen when we got here, and helped to make it a positive experience. And so I just really want to say thank you to everybody who's been involved in scouting, and whether you were involved in our son's scouting or somebody else's, thank you for providing that service and giving back, because it's a true investment in the community that we have. And I can't hit on enough thank you to everybody, but it's important that if you have been involved in scouting, that you recognize that you're part of the 112-year history of people that have invested in the youth of this country, and we're grateful to you. In life, there's times where we're asked to take an oath. Sometimes that oath is of office, sometimes it's for honesty, sometimes it's for membership, and sometimes it's even the oath that you're willing to lay down your life to protect or defend other people. An oath should be something with meaning. The person repeating it should mean what they're saying. As scouts, we oftentimes repeat the oath, and it's really easy for it to become just something we repeat without meaning behind it. The people that have invested in our scouts are people that took that to heart and really invested in them and did so without getting any payment in return. My wife is one of those people, and I just want to call out very specifically Christy. Thank you very much. When COVID happened, I had to spend almost my entire waking hours every day at work trying to take care of the factory. And somehow these boys managed to achieve far more in scouting than we had ever hoped. And it's predominantly because of you. You drove them to things, either physically or figuratively, to get things done. They wouldn't be here today without the motivation that's come for you. And I hope you truly understand how grateful we are for this honor only happening because of you. And so thank you very much, Christy, for everything that you've done. Finally, I'd like to call Patrick and Samuel up here real quick. So some of you may be familiar with the tradition of a challenge coin. A challenge coin is something that they give out in the military public safety world, and it's usually for some sort of achievement. It's usually something you've worked really hard to do, and it's a recognition for what you did, not just as a token for what you did, but it's to remind you in the future when you're going through tough times, when you're going through challenges, that you've already accomplished some things. And we've given challenge coins to the boys throughout their scouting journey, whether it was for a long hike, for obtaining scuba diving certification, for leading the Science Olympiad, to the Philmont Trek, to their high adventure bases. And each one they carry with them is a reminder. And we tell them, hang on to this. And when you feel like you just can't give in, can't keep up with it, hang on to this as a reminder for what you've already done. Today, I'm going to present them with a challenge coin that is truly unique. It is one that has the Eagle Scout rank on it. And the thing that's unique about this one is it's heavier than the others. Not physically heavier, but it's heavier because it carries the burden of what it means to be an Eagle Scout. From now on, for the rest of your life, you will be evaluated by this title. When you do something good, it'll be like, well, he's an Eagle Scout. Of course that's what he do. If you do something bad, it'll tarnish the name of Eagle Scouts. You're going to be challenged. You're going to have times in the future where you're going to struggle with doing the right thing. I give you this so that you have a reminder of what you've already accomplished, what you've already demonstrated, so that you can continue to push through and do the right thing. Patrick, you are trustworthy and loyal, helpful and obedient. God has a plan for you. He made you strong and courageous for a reason. Strength is not molded. It's forged, hammered, quenched, heated, and hammered again. You will likely face many tests of your strength, each hardening your resolve in the future. When you need to be brave, grab hold of this coin as a reminder of who you are and stand tall like David did with Goliath. Samuel, you are friendly and kind, cheerful and reverent. God has a plan for you. He gave you a strong and inquisitive mind. He also made you highly empathetic. Your care and concern for others is one of your greatest qualities, but it also makes you vulnerable. You are God's hands and feet to the weak and to the broken. In the future, when your feelings get hurt, when your compassion is challenged, grab hold of this coin as a reminder of who God made you to be, and let your soul be restored by the love of Christ so you can care for others once more.